Hey there, and welcome back to Red Spark's crypto blog for your crypto and Cardano related news. Sorry I've been away for the last few days. I had a bit of a secret squirrel project to work on. That's now out the way, so I can get back to doing the daily reports. Starting with the market update, I'm sure a few of you have probably been quite euphoric the last few days with Bitcoin hitting new all-time highs, same with Ethereum, and Cardano finally going back up. And it's now sitting comfortably at our good old friend $2.20 or thereabouts. I myself wasn't getting too excited by the Cardano price. It's great to see it firmly above $2 again. And it was also above Solana for a few hours. But generally, as I've been saying, I really don't think Cardano is going to pump too heavily until the launch of our first app, and hopefully that'll be Sunday Swap. With Bitcoin, my hunch is it's going to float around between the 65 and 70k $1,000 mark. That's what I said in my previous video, and I haven't seen anything to change my mind on that. That being said, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it does shoot up to 70, 75 and beyond. Quick note about Solana. I did in my last video announce that I bought a small amount of Solana. It wasn't a serious investment for me. I was expecting it to be pumped by the VCs until it overtakes Binance Coin and possibly even Ethereum, at which point I was going to cash out. However, as soon as I saw the negative news on Solana the other day about the history of their market cap manipulation, I decided that was enough, and I just cashed out before it plummeted back down again, although it has now recovered a little bit. So generally, I wasn't too into Solana to begin with, and with the recent negative news, I just decided, you know what, I'll just exit altogether and not bother with it. I think I then put the proceeds of that into Link. That was quite fortuitous because Link then pumped the very next day. So those are the few times when it feels like my wheeling and dealing do go right. But generally, I prefer just to buy and hold like I do with Cardano. Let's have a quick look at COTI. Why not? COTI, up and down, up and down, up and down. Is there anything really to say here? Let's take a 1 month view. I think they were going to announce a new partnership with IOHK today. So let's see what that is. It might pump up based on that. Cardano has been getting a lot of press recently. It was covered by CryptoVerse in his video last night. And it's been shooting up, so it's up 20% in 24 hours, 194% in 7 days. I did something I normally would never ever do, and I actually FOMO'd into this coin at probably around this current price that it is right now. I put a buy order in early today. It was a small amount that I can afford to lose, but Cardano is actually a coin that I was aware of. It used to be part of JP Morgan's project to create a coin, and then it spun off. So it has got some sort of relate or ties back to the traditional financial establishment. So it was something I'd been thinking about, not too seriously. But now that I'm seeing it pumping up, I thought, you know what, let's put in a small amount that I'm okay to lose if it goes wrong. And who knows, maybe it'll double or something. So that's not something I advise. Don't do as I do. Do as I say and all that. Moving on to Cardano update, probably the most significant thing on the last day or so was the Meld roadmap update. Meld is a DEX that I'm closely following. It's the DEX that I'm second most excited about after Sunday Swap, although ErgoDex is up there as well. The key thing is they've announced that they're not going to be launching until January the 31st, 2022. And they go through stating their reasons, basically to do with a whole bunch of tooling not being quite right, so the infrastructure there. And I gotta say, I don't really blame them. From what I've seen of the Cardano infrastructure right now, it is still very much early days and a lot of improvements have to be made. And it was good reading through their blog post to see how they're actively trying to help with that improvement. So they're contributing to community tools that are already out there rather than reinventing the wheel themselves. and also making improvement proposals to the Cardano platform to help make things easier for developers. So have a read of their article. It was a good article. I'll probably give it a second read myself. And as I said in my Twitter remark, thanks for clarifying. Not disappointed at all. Sounds like you guys are greatly helping improve the tooling and platform for all devs. So thank you. Moving on, Hishoshi. He did a great interview of Pi from Sunday Swap. Highly recommend watching it. It was a very good explanation of why the EUTXO model used by Cardano is, to put it bluntly, superior to Ethereum's model. It was a better explanation of EUTXO that I've seen than even probably Lars himself in his Plutus Pioneers videos. And it made a lot more sense to me after watching it. So I highly recommended that you watch that. Tim Harrison says that there'll be a blog post coming our way later on today, outlining the conversations that he's been having around the short-term scalability issues, parameters, block size, memory pools, and so on. I did tweet back, awesome, looking forward to covering this. Would also be good to see references to the fee issues that Sebastian brought up, as the two sides are starting to feel a little disconnected. So you might recall from my videos last week how Sebastian over here, Guillemot, he's been bringing up, and I think rightly so, conversations around short-term scalability issues and whether we need a fee system within Cardano. And he had a bit of heat from that from the Cardano community. But it would be good to see what Tim Harrison and IOHK say about that. Speaking of IOHK, their latest blog talks about some additional members of the UTXO blockchain sort of consortium that Cardano are part of. So this is just a consortium of crypto companies that are all building around the UTXO model. So you've got a few others there. So I think it's just generally good to see that coming together, as they can release more research around why the UTXO model is good and help develop additional tooling for it. Lastly, on the Cardano front, Cardano Foundation are recruiting. There's a whole bunch of jobs there. So CFO, which has got a high level position. So if you know of a good CFO, feel free to direct that to them. And a few other positions there. Didn't see anything that caught my fancy, but you never know. The key thing with the Cardano Foundation, as scrolling through here, looking at their Twitter feed. So there's a lot of job ads as we saw. There's a request to donate money to to plant trees and so on. But when I compare that to IOHK, so let's do that now. What we see in the IOHK one is, let's see, strawberry farmer running stake pool. Okay, fine. We're using 2 solar panels. I mean, that's actually pretty cool, to be fair. But they had this document here around the climate change agenda, the sustainability report, and basically talking about how blockchain is an efficient solution and how proof of stake can help. And then if you scroll down, you just generally get a lot more advocacy, I would say, about Cardano coming out of the IOHK Twitter channel, as well as, of course, their research, much more than I see on the Cardano Foundation Twitter feed. And it leaves me just to wonder what exactly is the distinction. I mean, I kind of know what the distinction is supposed to be, but in reality, I feel like IOHK are doing a much better job of things that the Cardano Foundation should be doing. And I never really see the Cardano Foundation retweet IOHK articles and vice versa. So it does make me wonder what's going on. I might be reading too much into it, but yeah, it's just something I was thinking. And I also don't like, I'm in a very picky mood today. I also don't like the Twitter handle, Cardano Stiff Tongue. I mean, what exactly is that? Whenever I see that in a Twitter comment, I actually have no idea it's a Cardano Foundation, despite being in the Cardano community all these years. Cardano Stiff Tongue and Cardano Foundation, there's no relationship there. I have no idea why they call it. Why not just go with at Cardano Foundation or something obvious? Let me know in the comments if you think I'm being too harsh there. Okay, moving on to non-Cardano news. Actually, before we do that, a big thank you to my 104 viewers for my last video on Sunday Swap 5 days ago, and to my 68 subscribers. Thank you for your support. And also thank you to the friends who I know have been joining in the last few days. Hopefully you find the information informative and a gentle introduction to crypto. Or at the very least, my voice helps put you to sleep at night. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. It really does help motivate me to keep doing these videos. Crypto has gone from weird to cool thanks to NFTs, says Visa executive. Visa's head of crypto, Coy Sheffield, said that mainstream users are setting up crypto wallets in waves to be part of the NFT sector. So when I first read this, I thought Visa themselves had a crypto wallet that people could sign up for, and that allowed NFTs. And I was quite surprised, as I hadn't heard of Visa entering the NFT game. I know they bought an NFT a few months ago as a publicity stunt, but I wasn't aware of anything beyond that. But reading through it, it's just literally the head of crypto for Visa was just expressing his view. He's a self-proclaimed NFT enthusiast. He stated that that was about the purchase in August. The ability to track and leverage a digital asset in multiple environments could mean exciting new opportunities in ticketing, gaming, music, art, and beyond. He also hinted that the firm was looking at offering services tied to NFTs. So it'll be interesting to see what Visa comes up with. But the broader point is he reckons that NFTs have brought in a large swathe of new consumers into the crypto market. I'm not sure how true it is, but then again, I'm a bit of a NFT skeptic at this point, or rather, whilst I believe in the concept of NFTs and I think it has a lot of potential as applied to real estate, let's say, I'm not convinced with the current prices that we're seeing for random JPEG images. But he might be right. He might be right in that NFTs might be the gateway for bringing in a new generation of people into crypto. New York coin launching this week with Mayor-elect Eric Adams' blessing. We're glad to welcome you to the global home of Web3, says crypto-friendly Mayor-elect Eric Adams in response to Citicoin's rollout of the NYC coin this week. So this article is really about the company Citicoins that had launched Miami coin previously. They're now launching an NYC coin in response to the new NYC mayor's desire to have a New York coin. But I was reading a little bit more about this and found it quite interesting. As communities grow around Citicoins, they can encourage their mayor to claim the Reserve City Treasury wallet and begin putting its funding to use, the website reads. If the City of New York agrees to partner with Citicoins, it will have access to a custodied reserve wallet that holds 30% of all NYC mining rewards. The funds can be used to support whatever initiative the city deems fit. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez has stated the coin's funds will go towards crypto education, funding underprivileged communities, and programs to mitigate the risk of climate change. So that's really interesting. So you've got this imaginary, well, not imaginary, city coin created out of thin air, of which 30% of that coin is automatically attributed to that city. So if the value of that coin goes up, suddenly that city has all this new funding that it previously didn't have. So the city itself is incentivized to try and make the coin's price go up by partnering with Citicoin. So quite a clever concept, I thought. Not sure what I make of it, because what happens to the other 60%? Who owns that? How much of it is public? How much is it is belonging to Citicoin themselves or other private investors? But in theory, it's an interesting concept and a new way of funding public initiatives. SEC Commissioner: DeFi must address transparency and pseudonymity. Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw wants DeFi projects to cooperate with the SEC in order to find solutions for compliance with existing regulations. Regarding what she sees as a lack of transparency, Crenshaw said DeFi lacks market protections, which contributes to a two-tier market in which professional investors and insiders reap outsized returns. Crenshaw also highlighted concerns about the link between pseudonymity and market manipulation. When market participants operate pseudonymously, she argued that it becomes difficult to track and mitigate manipulation through the use of bots and collusive trading. She said that investors tend to be most vulnerable to losses as a result of market manipulation since normal signals such as trading volumes and momentum becomes unreliable. So I must say, I think I agree with this. There's definitely a lot of shady dealings that goes on in DeFi because you can hide your identity. So I definitely would welcome regulation that helps provide more transparency around some of that. But as long as it's sensible regulation, the worst thing would be to have so much regulation around transparency and identity and know your customer that it stifles new companies from starting up. I definitely think that the crypto industry does need some sort of lobbying body that can work with the SEC to come up with sensible regulation. BlockFi files for physically backed Bitcoin ETF. Cryptocurrency lending firm BlockFi has filed paperwork with the United States SEC to launch a physically backed Bitcoin exchange traded fund, kicking off what's expected to be a big week for the crypto markets. So basically, BlockFi, which is a kind of a lending platform, a centralized lending platform, has applied to launch a physical backed Bitcoin ETFs. So that must mean backed by gold, cash, or other assets. So they're using hard assets to back the Bitcoin ETF. So the SEC is really just getting hammered in all directions from people wanting to launch the first ever spot traded Bitcoin ETF, spot being the price as it is today, not speculating on the price sometime in the future. And the Van Eyck application, which has been going on for over a year now, I think they keep having to resubmit it. I think they resubmitted it as soon as Gary Gensler became the new SEC chief. They are expecting to hear back on November 14th, it seems. So that's hopefully going to finally come to an end. It's a highly anticipated decision, and it's due this coming Sunday. It will either be approved or denied from the SEC, which means no more delays because this has been going on for ages. So we will all be glad when the SEC stops stalling and hopefully gives the thumbs up to the first ever Bitcoin spot traded ETF. Bit of a strange day to announce such a decision. The crypto markets are 24/7, unlike the stock markets. So there's no such thing as releasing news outside of trading hours. But nevertheless, it'll be good to hear and be prepared for either Bitcoin price going up in anticipation of an approval or a lot of volatility before and after this announcement, depending
So
on
that's
how
it from
goes.
me. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, or leave a comment below, and consider subscribing or following me on Twitter, ideally both. Other than that, I hope you all have a great day.